Howdy, howdy.
Hey,
How are y'all today?
doing good. Hope you're doing.
I appreciate it. Hey. How you doing? I'll slide this. How are you? Hey, sorry. Hey, how are y'all? I have not seen it. I'll see it tonight. I tried to get him, they didn't get in contrast today. Okay. I didn't see the name. He does have that shirt. And I know they say I know that.
Yeah, right. Michael. You don't have
They said we'll do those.
a closed session or something. But I need to remove from this agenda. So I need to. You sure you ain't got the old one? I mean, we have two. Huh?
I don't know.
This agenda's right.
It's still sealed. Well, if we do it Friday, is that everything we'll say? Because it's transmit.
See, motion to get over
That'd
that.
be like Tuesday through Thursday.
Why ask one? You got it.
Just did there, so I'm very grateful.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the October 6th Board of Commissioners meeting to order. We'll start this evening by having invocation. Commissioner Martin, would you please?
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we do give thanks unto you for all things. We thank you, Lord, for having brought us this far in this day that we've not seen before and will not see again. Father, as we sit to dispatch the business of the town, we ask, Lord, that you endow us with wisdom and knowledge, Lord, that through our efforts tonight, that the people of Princeton will be represented correctly, Lord, and that those things that need to be done will get done, Lord. And Father God, that the people will have respect and honor and gratitude for those who labor for them, Lord. Father God, watch over us as we go forth. We ask your blessings upon our people in the Princeton community. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda is the approval of the board minutes from September 8th, 2025 board meeting. This is both open and closed session.
Make the motion that we accept the minutes from September and the closed meeting.
I agree.
I have a first, I have a second. Commissioner Robinson, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 4-0. All right, next on the agenda is to adopt the agenda for tonight's meeting, October 6th board meeting. With that being said, I would like to strike item 9, which is closed session for tonight, if the board so pleases.
motion to strike item 9.
I have a first. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 4-0. Say that again. Okay, so now we need to adopt the new agenda. With that, we have the closed session minutes. Okay, so we've already done the closed session meeting minutes in the first one. So with this, we have the September 8th board meeting. Well, we need to, I'm confused.
Need to adopt the revised agenda for tonight.
Okay, we'll need to adopt a revised agenda for the night and the resolution for cancer awareness.
Just the agenda first.
Okay, so tonight, we'll go ahead and adopt the agenda for the October 6th board meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I do give you a motion to adopt the new board meeting agenda for tonight.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Go ahead, thank you. And all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 4-0. All right, now next on the agenda is item 4C.
Approval of the consent agenda, which is A, B, and C.
Okay. All right, so approval of the consent agenda. I'll get with it here in a minute. Approval of the consent agenda, which is A, B, and C. September 8th board meeting minutes, the closed session minutes for September 8th, and the resolution for cancer awareness.
I offer you a motion to adopt or to approve the consent agenda for tonight.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, have a second by Commissioner Boyette. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 4-0. All right, next on the agenda is comments. On September 29th, T.A. King and myself met with North Carolina DOT Division 4 Engineer Matt Clark, along with 3 colleagues from the North Carolina DOT, including Representative Larry Strickland, Chief Smiley, and Fire Chief Stanley. We discussed the I-42 project in relationship with the 2 intersections at North Carolina Pine and Rains Mill Road and North Pearl Street / Edwards Road and Highway 70. North Carolina DOT representatives are very interested in finding a safe solution for these intersections. Division 4 Engineer Matt Clark decided it would be best to submit 3 possible scenarios for scoring to see if funding can be found to improve or replace the intersections. We should know more in the spring of 2026. So those have been applied for. I also like to say that Holt's Pond Road sewer extension easements have been recorded, and that project should be beginning soon. Also like to send out a thanks to Nick Ryan with the USDA for working with the town to remove 9 beaver dams from New Ballpark Road down to the Wayne County line. Update on the community center project. Sheet rock's installed. Got a primer coat on. Ceiling grid is in. Stone is going up. Things are happening there, and we should be close to completion in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Would also like to remind everyone of the Princeton Fall Festival this Saturday from October 11th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Also that night we have Feel the Burn 5K Run. That is at night, Saturday night, October 11th, starting at 7 p.m. Also, the Princeton Church Country Fair is Friday, October 31st from 6 to 9 p.m. Town Trick or Treating will also be on the 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. We ask that everyone please be safe, do not walk alone, wear bright colored clothes, and carry a flashlight. Also, the Princeton High School football will have its senior night on October 31st versus Rosewood at 7 p.m. So we're going to have a lot going on here on Halloween night. So we ask everyone to be safe and patient, have fun, but please be careful. Are there any other comments from the board?
I do ask that, and some may be aware, some may not be aware. Pastor down at Cornerstone, Pastor Steve Smith, lost his wife. She will be funeralized tomorrow there in Pine Level. So that's the brother of Dexter Smith. So that's kind of keeping them in prayer as well as they go through this trying time in their family. Because they just lost their mother a couple months ago, and now this.
Right.
So,
Okay. Any other comments from board? All right, next on the agenda is public comments. And would like to remind anyone that if you're going to get up and speak during public comments, you need to have signed in. So please make sure you signed in. And also for the upcoming public hearings, you will have needed to sign in to speak at those. So at this time, I'm going to open the floor for public comments. That's the time that any citizen can address the board on an item that is not on the agenda. Speakers are asked to keep the order and balance, and that all public comments will be kept to 3 minutes. We ask that you come to the podium, state your name and address. Speakers shall at all times maintain proper decorum and present all comments in a civil manner. Would anybody like to address the board?
You going up? No. Okay.
I don't think so.
Address.
May Louvier, currently at 206 West 3rd Street. I was just coming before y'all today to say thank you for your support for the Princeton Fall Festival. We're expecting a very successful event, and we couldn't have done it without y'all.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. All right, next on the agenda is our public hearing for the planning board recommendations. And at this time, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Brad Thompson.
Good evening, board. We do have a pretty good list for you tonight, and we'll start off with the parcel 040100027, which is 211 Lee Street, rezoning from R3.
Let me open the hearing if you don't mind. So at this time, we're going to open the hearing for all 6, we'll open the hearing for each one and close the hearing for each one. So it's 7:09, and we're going to open the first hearing, and it's for parcel 040100027, which is 211 Lee Street, and it's rezoning from an R3 to an R4.
Correct. So this did go before the planning board committee on earlier in September, and so we heard this, and they heard from property owner there, and so they voted unanimously to recommend to you tonight to rezone this particular property.
Is there anyone here that is speaking on 211 Lee Street who would like to speak? Okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead, please, Brad.
Basically, we are proposing to rezone this from R3 to R4 so we can do Townhomes on the lot, occurs on R3 only allows for single-family residence, and all these are by contrast the same people that own the property at the corner of Linda and Pine across from Hardee's that built the townhomes there. And what we want to do is get this rezoned to R4 so we can do a 5-unit building, similar to what we did over there. And we also are looking at having those buildings where we can sell each individual unit instead of having rental property. We'd rather have 5 units that are bought and you have 5 individual taxpayers working on that same lot versus one person to get the town's tax base. I know talking with Michael, it sounded like the town had a high percentage of rental property, and there's no problem with that. But we just think if you buy something, you have a little more investment in your community versus renting. And you can have great renters and not so great renters, and you have great landlords and not so great. But if you own it, you have an investment in it, and you want everything to look good for the community and be a responsible person to the town and make a long-term commitment to the town and live here. So that's what we're looking for, is to be able to go to the R4 zoning so we can do a multifamily townhome out there, a 5-unit building. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
But what we're doing here tonight is just
All we're
changing
talking
the
about
zoning.
is the rezoning. That's
Okay.
it, yeah.
And the only question I have is that the sole purpose of the rezoning is to split it up. So it's instead of one tract, that is 5.
Yeah, so that discussion, Commissioner Mark, is gonna be one of those things that we're taking up the rezoning question tonight. Unfortunately, that item of what's to happen with the property, we've already gone through the prior boards with, and we're gonna still work with potential landowner on that particular party, but tonight's motion to be considered tonight is the rezoning only.
And it's just so we can go, in R3, you're only allowed to have a single-family residence. R4, you can have townhomes, duplexes, and that's what we're looking for, is the R4 zoning, so we can do a building that has multiple units in it.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else on 211? All right, at this time, I'm gonna close the public comments, and nobody else will be heard. At this time, we're gonna close the hearing. So the time is 7:13. It is now closed. And I need a vote. Get a motion. Actually, I don't need to close the hearing. I need to have the vote and then close the hearing. Is that correct?
You can have the vote after you close it, it's
Okay.
fine.
All right, so we've closed the hearing. And do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I will offer you a motion to go from R3 to R4 in the zoning.
All right, I have a motion. Commissioner Robinson, do I have a second?
Yes, you do.
All right, I have a second from Commissioner Martin. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 4-0.
We thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Now I'd like to open the next hearing, which is parcel number 04004042A, which is 202 South Pine Street, rezoning from commercial 2 or C2 to R3. It is 7:14.
That's correct. Thank you, Mayor, on that. So we do have the owners here with us for that particular parcel, but we are moving from a commercial lot to a residential lot, which makes perfect sense considering that it is a residential structure. And so again, this has been heard and seen and questioned via the planning board. The recommendation was unanimous to you guys as well to approve the rezoning.
Anyone here that would like to speak?
The purpose of rezoning it is because they want to sell it, and it's hard to get a loan to sell a residential, commercial property if it's gonna go residential, so.
Okay, and your name?
Beth Hines.
Thank you for the record.
That's the biggest thing, yes.
Any questions?
I'm supposed to stand up there?
Nothing. Any discussion with the board? Okay. Anyone else?
It's been a resident since 1910 and never been commercial.
All right, so it's, no one else wants to speak. It's 7:15. We'll cut off public comments. And at this time, is there any discussion with the board?
I make a motion to approve the rezoning.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion for Commissioner Boyd, a second by Commissioner Robinson. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, motion passes 4-0. I'm closing out that hearing at 7:16. Moving to item C, going to open the public hearing for a special use permit for parcel 04P10141A, which is 213 Barton Street. It is 7:16.
Okay, so on this particular request here, we do have the owner here with us that owns that parcel. We are looking to get a special use permit that is strictly related to our watershed district. It is a commercial property, which because of any change on that, you by statutory authority here in the town are required to approve whether or not a parcel can change its watershed percentages anywhere between 10 and 70%. What the owner is looking to do here is add additional 7 parking spaces, and that will require additional pavement. And so we're looking to add about 2,300 square feet of pavement. In this instance, it's going to be pervious pavement. So water will flow through this particular pavement in this project. But as we look through, and just from a fact-finding standpoint, as we look through this particular petition, right now it is not an impervious surface issue at all. We are good to go with that with our ordinances. However, because it is a watershed district parcel and commercial, we do need to take up this for special use permit. But as we look at it, that particular project is looking to accommodate a potential addition of a medical provider, a doctor, or a mid-level provider there at that location, so that would increase the parking need. And as you can see there on page 13, there are 27 parking spaces there currently. There's 1 physician's assistant, 2 nurse practitioners, and 8 support staff, for a total of 11 persons. On page 14, you kind of see how the math, according to our zoning ordinances, breaks down. For any of the current providers, they are required to have 4 spaces per provider, which would be 12, and the remaining 8 spaces for the staff. So that would be 20 spaces. If they do add an additional provider, that would be 4 spaces per 4 providers, 16 spaces plus the other 7. So that would be a 23, 24 space requirement there. Currently, they have 27. And again, we see no issue with that, especially since the owner is looking to incur additional costs by installing pervious pavement that will help curb any of the water runoff issues that we're looking at. They are not disturbing more than an acre, so it's not a watershed ordinance issue here. It is simply a special use permit based upon Section 9 and the requirements here of this particular board.
Okay. Is there anyone from the audience that would like to speak on this?
Don't go away. Okay.
Anna Bruton, I'm one of the providers at the office.
Okay.
And while I could park in the front, I necessarily don't want to go in the front door. And the alarm system, I'm one of the first ones there, and the alarm system's in the back of the office as well. So I was one of the latter ones to get to the office, but I'm in medical director, but I park in the grass every day to allow my other staff to park in the parking spots. So I do have pictures just of today, and we were actually missing a couple of people today, but we have people parking in the grass out there, and we would just appreciate a walk on pavement or something that might get our feet wet.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Patricia Bass, I'm the practice manager.
Uh-huh.
And it's just an inconvenience, of course, with staff getting there. We're dressed for the day, professional, and you're going in and going through the mud, and it gets muddy back there when it rains. And it's a little frustrating for the staff to have to bring extra clothes to come in and change to get ready for today. So it would be nice to have that extra parking to accommodate my staff. And hopefully in December, we're gonna be adding a cardiologist and hopefully in the future add more providers, so.
That'd be great.
That's great.
Yes.
Awesome, Patricia, thank you. Anyone else?
Larry McCoy is on his way here, but I will go over the definitions of pervious concrete. And pervious pavement captures stormwater through voids in the pavement surface and filters water to an underlying aggregate reservoir. The reservoir typically allows the water to infiltrate into the soil subgrade. The reservoir can be designed to detain and release the water to the surface system, and it does not go into the storm drain system. It goes directly into the ground. This is the entire statute, or actually the manual for DEQ. So it is permitted and it's a favorable preference, particularly in wetland areas or areas such as the Goldsboro Water District, so you do not add more storm drainage to the system. And if you go further east or west or south or north, this is the preferred method of payment in the future. So I won't give this to Brad, so he could evaluate and put that into his, determine the changes, but Johnston County adopts the similar. So any questions? Or
And just for the record, can you state your name?
Don Raines. I'm property owner.
Thank you, Don. I know everybody here knows.
Hey everybody, I'm Mitch McGuire. I'm the owner of Woodard Drug Store, 102 East Edward Street. You'll probably remember 2 years ago, we didn't have a doctor's office, and we almost didn't have a pharmacy until I bought it and revamped it. It was going to go under. So one of the reasons that it was not successful and was sold was there was no doctor's office, no draw for the community to have a hometown pharmacy and a hometown doctor. So with the addition, I knew that they were coming, and that's one of the reasons that I purchased the pharmacy and revitalized it. With the addition of a cardiology, potentially, that's even more exciting. So I would strongly encourage you to vote for the permit, because we need doctors to be a community. We need new people coming in and being able to be seen and have their health care taken care of locally.
Thank you, Mitch. Anyone else? All right, with that, and
Did I have a question?
okay.
So, haven't done this part in a long time, so, correct me if I'm wrong, that the portion that the town is concerned about that is that we are given X amount of land that can be wetland, and this is actually not a wetland issue, because they are using they're using the impervious concrete, so that the water is not going out like it normally would. Now, am I correct, or?
The term is pervious.
So yes, so the question is we have pervious pavement, which does allow for water to flow through it. In typical streets out here, that's impervious. The roof on your house is impervious. The water runs off, runs into the ditches quicker, creates issues quicker. But since we're soaking this into the soil, we're not going to run into any increased issue from that particular parcel and how it's established. But it is a watershed issue, which means that potentially we would deduct this from our watershed allotment that comes to us from the county and the state.
Okay. And do we know what our numbers actually are?
Last check was 10 acres.
Okay. That's all I had.
Anyone else from the public want to speak? Okay. With that, I'm gonna close off public comments. Any discussion with the board?
How long has it been open, a year?
One of those two.
2 years. That's amazing that they're already adding another provider and then a cardiologist. That's so good. I'm sure we'll see y'all again in a year or so for more parking spaces.
It'd be great. All right, with that being said, we're going to, we can get a motion. We can.
I'll offer you a motion, Mr. Mayor, that we allow the change to the percentage.
Okay.
Second.
I have a first from Commissioner Martin, second from Commissioner Robinson. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 4-0. With that being said, I'm closing the hearing for Barden Street, parcel number 04P101418 at 7:26. Next on the agenda is public hearing for subdivision ordinance agreement. With that being said, we're going to open the hearing at 7:27 p.m.
Thank you, Mayor. So as you look at page 18 of your packet, item 7D, you do see 405.9, which is our current language in our subdivision ordinance as it relates to how the number of lots and the requirement of number of entrances into that subdivision. That was contradictory, it's contrary to the county's ordinance. And so the proposed new language, all that is bolded on page 18 and 19, that is a melding, if you will, of our two ordinances, but it does align us with the county so that NCDOT requirements for all that they do in terms of entrances to a subdivision would be very similar, and we wouldn't be doing some oddities here in the town of Princeton. So as you can see on 7D, that is the proposed language there. And so once you get up to 99 lots, you have one entrance. Once you go above 99, 100 to 199, the developer can, it has to have one, but it has to have a secondary interest. And you see the definitions that are in that bullet point on page 19 at the top. So a second full surface access built to NCDOT or county standards for ingress and egress. And then once you get above the 200 count, then you can see they got to have a minimum of 2 separate entrance points to that subdivision. So this did go before the planning board once again. This does match up with the county, and they voted unanimously to recommend that you approve this.
And I'll add, this was a recommendation by NCDOT themselves.
Okay.
So now, didn't we change our ordinance just a little while ago?
So
but it just didn't jive with the county.
So we had a couple projects that we came through and we made adjustments
Right.
toward the rule on those 2 subdivisions that would match up with the counties, which is what this language does.
Okay. all
Yes,
right.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone from the public like to speak? Okay. All right, with that being said, we'll close off public comments and any discussion amongst the board. Okay. If there's no discussion, can I get a motion?
I'll offer you a motion, Mr. Mayor.
All right, have a motion from Commissioner Hart. Do I have a
Oh,
second?
and I guess I'll be able to tell you what the motion is.
Yeah, would be nice.
That I make the motion that we adopt the new ordinance as presented.
Okay. We have a motion.
Second.
I have a second from Commissioner Boyette. All in favor, raise your right hand. And the motion passes 4-0.
That's separate.
At this time, I'll close the public hearing. It is 7:30 p.m. And at this time, I'm going to open the public hearing for the townhome zoning amendment. And it is 7:30 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So as you can see on page 20 of your packet, item 7E, we are looking to add within our R4 districting a subset, if you will, for townhomes. Currently, we do have rules related to multifamily dwelling units, which would be a duplex, triplex, and so on. There are differences in the way that they are constructed, and the county is requiring different things between the two. One has to have a firewall, the other one has to have, if I'm not mistaken, I'm probably gonna get them crossed up, one has to have a sprinkler system. So there's some nuances between the two. So we would recommend that we add townhome language to our zoning ordinances, and as you can see, again on that table there, that we would require that the lot on a townhome, the walls to the townhome on the interior walls would be your property lines, even throughout the front of the property and the rear of the property. So we're recommending 2,500 square feet minimum for those interior lot houses or units, and that they have to start with at least a half acre in order to start this process, and require 1.5 parking spaces per bedroom. And that will accommodate should teenagers be involved in someone buying these homes. Also, setbacks are very similar to what we already have for our multifamily units. And then I've got on page 21, down at the bottom there, 10.5.4, we're just adding the language there in bold, the parking spaces that will be required there. And then on page 22 of your packet, again in the table as it relates to our zoning ordinances, we've added townhome and 1.5 spaces per bedroom. Again, this was brought forth by, to the planning board, and as a recommendation to modify our zoning ordinance. They adopted it unanimously to recommend to you guys tonight that we approve this.
All right. Anyone from the public who would like to speak on the townhomes zoning amendment? Okay, at this time, I'm going to close off public comments and open it up to board discussion.
So technically, the only thing we're doing is adopting the verbiage.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
If there is no other responses, Mr. Mayor, I offer you a motion to accept the townhome zoning verbiage as written.
I have a motion from Commissioner Robinson. Do I have a second?
You do.
I have a second from Commissioner Martin. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 4-0. At this time, I'm going to close the public meeting. It's 7:33 p.m. And at this time, I'm going to open the public hearing for a special use permit for parcel 04Q08005A, which is 600 Dr. Donnie H. Jones Boulevard. And the time is 7:33.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Once again, on page 23, item 7F, we do have a petition here from Jackson Weeks, Weeks Holdings LLC. They are formally requesting a special use permit to add gravel to that particular lot that's going to accommodate parking and storage of recreational vehicles. And so, again, this is a watershed issue. By adding gravel to that particular parcel on a commercial lot, again, they are going up to 70% coverage of that lot. There will be a dry basin on that parcel to help control any of the water runoff. So it is using best practices to control water and runoff in the town. And so we agree with that. But once again, since we are in a commercial zoning district, you have the authority tonight between the 10 and 70% for approval of special use permit. Should you grant it tonight, that will allow them to move forward just like the other to seek zoning permits to make changes to that property.
Okay. Mr. Thompson, is there anyone here that would like to speak?
Yes, sir. My name is Jackson Weeks. I'm here with the owners. My dad owns it, and along with the properties behind it, the commercial properties. And it's, for those of you that aren't aware, potentially, I know it's a lot of numbers and letters, but it's the lot that's right beside the old IGA building to the east. We know, especially with Interstate 42 coming, there's a demand for boat and RV storage and just outdoor storage in general. Some people use it for, whatever, not necessarily boat and RVs, but there's a demand, and especially with the new interchanges coming, we think it's a good spot for one. At a meeting January of 24 with the planning board and with the help of Michael, we did adopt some language in the ordinances about screening requirements and everything else that would be required. So they would be fully screened from view on all sides. We have a DOT driveway permit already, and we're just looking for the special use permit to go up to the 70% impervious so that it's actually feasible, and it's on an empty lot right now, so.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else from the audience? All right, at this time, any questions?
So, what effect will the, by gravel being added to it, what effect will that have on our current drainage?
So it is gravel, but by our rule is considered impervious. So that does create a water runoff issue, at least by our rule, but it is gravel, let me restate that, and it's gonna be rather large stone.
It will be, yes, sir.
Okay, so it's gonna be a rather large stone, which does help some of the drainage into the soil below the gravel.
And as Brett said, it'll still have the dry detention basin, which is what, basically any shopping center you go to is gonna have behind it. Some of them will be wet or some will be dry. So it is gonna contain the water still, but.
And this will be, once again, reported up to the county and the state for watershed allotment. This will reduce our allotment.
Because I know that when you come back towards Food Line, if it really rains a lot, that the water backs up from the cemetery backwards. So I'm wondering what issues that may cause, because it sounds like that it won't help the present issue.
Well, considering, that's an interesting point that you bring up there, but they are using best practice principles here to help control that so that it's not making its way back behind the lot. The road is higher, so to speak, than the back part of the lot, so that's where the water's gonna run. It's gonna run into that dry basin, which should slow down anything that's running to the back of Gurley's Mill Road.
Yeah, that dry basin will capture the water and hold it and release it slowly.
Yeah.
Is pretty much what that is. It's more or less a retention pond.
And that's-
But it should be dry within a day.
Yeah, and that's
Within
one of the
24 hours.
best practice principles that they're implementing, and I don't have the ability to go and say that's not gonna work, because it is a principle that's working currently.
Right. Okay. Well, I wanted to put it out there, because I think it was something that we needed to talk about.
Valid point.
Are we ever presented with the fencing or screening plan? Does that come before us? I mean, how is that
So
reviewed?
that comes back to the planning and zoning, so that we ensure that it matches what the zoning ordinance calls for. And right now it's 6 or 8 foot screening, and we're gonna put some of the nylon screen behind the fence as well, the chain link fencing, so to help block the view.
But that does not come back before this board, the town will handle that.
That'll be a zoning thing there when we issue the permits, although it had to be defined when we do the zoning permit.
I was at that planning meeting that you brought up, I think, when we were talking about when there was another business wanting to come in, and the concern was how that would look coming into town, so.
I have the proposed language right here from that meeting, if you'd like to see it, but.
I'll take it, sure.
And what we actually like to do, because on the front, and this is actually gonna be more expensive for us, this is down here at the bottom. But the nice vinyl fencing so use some of the topsoil that my brother and I do site work, that's what we do, my dad does the building management and all that. So with the topsoil that would come from the lot, to be able to put the gravel in, we'll build a slight berm in the front, which we could plant bushes on to screen it from Highway 70, future Interstate 42. On the back, 3 sides potentially, and I know on the back it's just commercial, it's not residential, but it still would have to be screened, and it would probably be a chain link with some sort of slatting that obscures view, as it says in here, but in the front would be a vinyl with most likely nice, berm for sure, because that also reduces the cost of building, so not hauling off that dirt, but also helps to hide it from Interstate 70, Highway 42, so.
Any other questions? Discussion? All right, at this time, I'm going to close the public comments and we're going to hopefully get a motion.
Well, I thought that I was going to stay quiet this time. Did I offer you a motion, Mr. Mayor? That it sounds like that that the concept that they put together that has been thoroughly thought through and as was stated, that this is the best practice available to them now, and looks like that they're doing what they can to control the water and the site. So I offer you a motion that we approve the permit.
Second.
All right, have a first from Commissioner Martin, second from Commissioner Robinson. All in favor, raise your right hand. And the motion carries 4-0. At this time, I will close the public meeting, which is 7:42. And I do thank you for coming. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. All right, next on the agenda is Community Center. Bounce right back where we were last month.
All right, good evening, Board. As we've discussed past couple meetings, the rental agreement for the community center as presented, no changes from the last two meetings. The main focus, I believe, is the rates, and we have adjusted those down for some conversation. In-town residents and out-of-town residents, and these are based off of three sessions, basically a 9 to 3, 5 to 11, or an all day. Just for an example, if you were to get it for Monday morning, you'd have it from 9 to 3, it'd be $100, plus the deposit of $150, plus the cleaning fee of $150. Speaking of the cleaning fee, in your packet there are two proposals, one from Brittany Atkinson and one from Michaela Owens. I have not spoken with Ms. Owens. I've reached out to her, could not get a response, but I have met with Ms. Brittany Atkinson, and we have toured the community center, and she does offer the best price of the two, and she also does clean the town hall for Pine Level and Wilson Mills, and comes highly recommended. Her cost was $100, so even with the cleaning fee at $150, that covers that expense.
Can I interject?
Sure.
Are we not wanting it to be what she's charging? I mean, I'm just trying to figure out where we can,
Well, we'll have to restock supplies,
Okay, so
cleaning
where-
things. She'll bring stuff, but there may be times we'll need to restock paper towels,
Okay,
things like that she will not.
okay,
So that's kind of why we figured the difference.
okay.
So. Any questions on the proposed rental rates?
And can you say again, I know we've talked about this, but can you say what the current rates will have been with the old?
Currently, let me just refresh my memory. How much is it?
$135 to rent, but there is a $100 deposit, you get 50 back.
Yep.
So
It was 180, it was 185. And that was not a cleaning fee. We were cleaning it ourselves.
So the actual fee though was $135.
actually went.
So they came in and paid $100 deposit?
Yes, but I'm
You
talking
get
about,
50 back if it's clean.
right, I'm talking about if it's just like taking that away, you
The
mark it
rental
as
fee is
130.
$135.
Correct, yes. And Liz handled all the rentals. And then as you can see, out of town, there is a slight increase for out of town residents. It's about $35 more, but the deposit and the cleaning fee stays the same. And this is going to be something that we're going to have to adjust as we go along. Liz has started keeping tabs of pre-booking, so to speak, people wanting to rent it. And we tell them right now we just don't know what the fee's going to be. But I think offering this is pretty comparable and affordable, and it may be something we may have to adjust at a later date. So,
Adjust up or down?
probably up.
Yeah, because I mean, I was thinking that, to be able to get it for 6 hours for $150.
Well, it would be $250 actually, yeah. Yeah.
So-
And it's still affordable, but it will be something we have to look at for sure.
I'll throw myself out there and say that I put these numbers forth because I spent a lot of time, I think I said this last month, I spent a lot of time with this on my heart of how I felt like to get these numbers right, to make sure that the public view this as significant as we view it, and to use it and to rent it and to not be scared off by the price. And, you know, we can adjust these as we see how it's trending and the way the hours are and the rentals are and in town, out of town, how that's working. But I know they probably seem a little low, especially compared to what we were talking about. But again, we can change these, further if we need to talk about it. But I just felt that this was a good place to start.
And it may be something we do for 3 to 6 months to see how it rents, and then if it's, booking up, we may look at increasing it some. Our goal is definitely to take care of the building, make sure it's maintained, and cleaned properly, so we can keep renting it out.
I'm glad we got the doors and stuff up. I stopped through a week or two ago. One of the homeless guys was just kind of pitch camping there.
Yeah.
And so, that I just want to make sure that we are making a profit, that the town won't have to spend money to carry the community building. That I want to make sure that the community building can carry itself.
I agree, and I do think we will likely be adjusting these in the future. I would expect that we probably would. I don't want to have too high of a price tag and deter folks who may want to rent it but are otherwise unable with the prices being too high. And I think this would be a good way to get exposure and let families and people and organizations see it and appreciate it and understand if we do in some time raise the price, they'd understand why and know what they're getting, and it would be okay. But I just want to make it so that everyone will have a chance. A question I had, and I don't know, I may have missed it in the contract. Are we going to put in language, or is this going to be something understood that the organizations in town that are, the PCA or the Women's Club, and I'm not singling those out, organizations that exist to support the town, are those going to have some kind of arrangement, maybe once a month, they can have meetings there, something like that?
We've got all nonprofits would receive 15% off the rental rate, not the deposit or the cleaning fee, just the rental rate. But it would be up to the board to decide if they would let the women's club meet there once a month or.
And so what I had thrown out, y'all, and I still think that language can stand, but what I had thought maybe could be considered was to allow, and I don't know how you frame this or determine what organizations apply, but have it be such that certain Princeton organizations that exist to support the town have maybe one meeting a month there, limited to an hour and a half or something, or even get a certain day that can be done and limit it, or you get 2 weeks notice prior to the date you've requested, assuming that the space is available, or some kind of language to enable a meeting space for these town groups.
And so the criteria would be groups that basically exist to improve the town.
And I think my recommendation would be with board approval.
Right.
They don't call and say, hey, I want to do this and rent it. I think they need to do a presentation to the board, this is what we're doing, and then the board would make that decision, hey, we're gonna let the women's club use it because they have a presentation and this is what they're doing. Because if not, we're gonna open it up and everybody's gonna wanna use it, so to speak. Free. And we've already had some call wanting to know could they use it or borrow it, and I've told them no, there's no borrowing, so to speak.
And maybe there's not a way that we can accomplish this. I'm just saying that it would be beneficial for organizations who don't always have a place to meet. I know in one that I'm in, we often have to meet at a restaurant in town, or we have to try to find a place that will let us, so that we can gather and talk. And this, we're in these groups to discuss town activities. It just seems fair to allow an hour and a half, one night, one day a month, so that these groups can meet. Again, if that's possible, and you can have certain language restricting to say the time that you're allowed, the days that you're allowed. We have to know 2 weeks beforehand. If there's someone who wants to book it, they get priority. I mean, things that can be figured out, if that's something I wanted to do.
Well, there's only 2 organizations in town, right, that we know of, PCA and the Women's Club.
That I know of, that exist to support the town. I mean, there's plenty of other great organizations that may have like Princeton in their name or some association to the town in some way, but I just know those offhand are ones who strictly exist. I mean, the Women's Club is for the Christmas parade. We look for improvement projects in town. The Veterans Day service, PCA, the many things, the bazaar we're doing this year, the many things PCA does. Those are the 2 that come to mind, and I could be missing some, but I don't know if we need to even have that resolved tonight. I just wanted to put that out there, that may be something we consider.
Yeah, because in the old building, we had a whole bunch of organizations. We had Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts,
Lions Club.
And that we struck some type deal with the Lions Club on the old building. Does that still hold for the new building?
I've never seen a contract or anything.
Well,
I'd have to look, but I would say no. Again, I don't think we want to start borrowing it, because if we do, then it's going to look just like the old building.
I would say let's check with our surrounding communities and see how they do it.
That's a good point.
well, but now I think our past what we've done in the past, that that I think we ought to basically stick with that instead of going to other towns, because that I know that whenever the board first accepted the building from the Lions Club, that they got the ability to keep having their meetings there, and I'm not sure whether or not there is a document that actually spells that out or not.
Yeah, I'll have to look.
Yeah, and Marla may be able to tell you.
Okay. All right.
Any more discussion? All right, with that being said, I need someone to help me out here.
What are we motioning?
To adopt the rate schedule.
Just the rate schedule?
Correct. And the rental agreement for citizens.
Now,
Am I allowed to ask a question in the audience? Would the PCA use the community center to meet?
Yeah, they get to use it.
We used to use it, and
No, I'm saying now, would you if you
No.
ever had the opportunity?
depending on the cost, I'd actually considered if they wouldn't allow us to only rent it for an hour, to see if we could just rent it with the Women's Club and split.
Don't go say
Instead
that.
of doing like a 3 hour, like y'all had the 3 hour block schedule that you were talking about
Yeah,
at one point.
just
So
change the
I don't need it for 3 hours.
And they do help the town. Again, I guess it would be a case by case, board approval, should they need to use it. And they rotate, so it wouldn't be every month, I know. They go to bread and bottle beds and different places. There's not many, but they do rotate.
I get a little nervous thinking about, I agreed originally, but I think about, you said, case by case, come in, state your case. Well, I'm gonna have a real hard time if a group of young ladies come in and wanna start the future Princeton leaders
Sure.
of America, and I have to say, I don't know.
I think the
Should
main
make
thing
this
to remember is this is a 1.3 plus minus building, and we have a lot of expense. The library has a lot of expense, and we just want to make sure it's taken care of, and not just open door policy, so to speak, where anybody can go in there. And some people may not want to use it because they can't cook in there like they used to. It's basically just a meeting facility.
I get it. All that I'm saying is just to the point that I don't want this to be some unattainable space for anybody, whether
Sure.
it's restrictions, costs, anything. I don't want it to have all of this excitement and then we're stuck because of the restrictions and price. I would make a motion to approve the rate schedule with the understanding that in the next 3 to 6 months, we assess what the trend has been as far as bookings and requests and adjust rates accordingly if we are finding that that's needed.
And I think one thing we may want to look at is, and I'll work on it, is we probably need a definition of what is town supported.
Okay.
By meaning you,
Sure.
the Women's Club or the PCA, what is the definition of it?
And
You
that's
know,
important. I mean,
And that's going out, doing events, raising money, bringing people into the town, et cetera.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. And then I would also say that, similarly, we approve the rental agreement with the understanding that in the next 3 to 6 months, should we find that any of the language needs to be adjusted based off of what we are finding, that be done.
The question that I have is a question that I asked the last meeting that I know I think it was on the alcohol, if they violated that talked about that it was that we would give them I guess you would call it a fine or penalty of that's a $1,000
So 2B requires a $2 million alcohol insurance policy 30 days prior to the event. In any event, the alcohol is not permitted. At any event that displays alcohol that is not permitted will forfeit their deposit and be fined a $1,000 penalty. The applicant also would forfeit rights to any future rentals. And this is a fee that the town could charge because this would be a town policy.
And I wonder about because that's a $1,000 penalty, and
what we would do.
And the reason I asked the question because I know that whenever it comes to ordinances, is it still the same, Chief, that the maximum fine on ordinance is $250? Oh, I don't think the Chief is listening.
Smiling.
That the maximum fine for violation of a town ordinance, isn't it $250?
I believe so. You talking about for the alcohol?
Then
We would write a ticket for the alcohol. Is that what you're asking?
Well, I'm asking that, could we actually give a penalty of $1,000 to someone? Because I know that under our ordinances, I think the max is like, is it $250 or $500?
On our ordinance,
Yeah. So.
And it may change by what the general statute says. I mean, I can check on it and see.
Yeah, let's check on
But the way we would handle that is, anybody that has alcohol would put a credit card on file. And then if they violate it, we're gonna say, hey, you violated, this is the fee, and this is what you're gonna be charged. That way we get the money.
So we're gonna put a credit card on file when rented?
That's the plan. We're gonna try, but if they don't have one, we're gonna probably have to take check or cash, because some people's probably not gonna have one, but I think the goal is to take a credit card if we can.
Or certified check.
Yeah, do that.
Can I add one more thing to my motion? To approve A&B Services cleaning contract?
Okay,
I'm assuming that needs to be done too.
correct.
And didn't I read in there where she was asking for one?
Yeah.
One what?
She was asking for one free rental.
She did ask that.
Is
She did, I do ask if awarded a contract, it would be considered that I would be allowed to use facility at no cost one time per year, providing it does not coincide with any booked agreements.
I would say that needs to be picked out, whether it's a whole day or half a day.
Yeah. And she'll be the one cleaning it, so she knows she's gonna take care of it.
So you wanna specify half day or whole day?
I would specify half a day, because it's,
Right.
So you're talking about 6 hours? Okay.
Yeah, 1 6-hour rental is the way I would do it.
Now, A and B is the one that you said came highly recommended, or was it?
That is A and B, that's Miss Brittany Atkinson. She's been here, she's a Princeton graduate. She has been here to the board. She presented the little library at
Little
the
library, yeah.
Flores Park.
Oh, okay.
And she's very active in the Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, what was said about the one use?
Instead of doing the whole day once a year, we would give her 6 hours, a half a day once a year for free.
Is there any other stipulation, like so much notice?
As long as it don't coincide with any other booking or whatever.
Okay.
And we could make sure it don't.
Good for her.
And that'll be basically on a first come, first served basis, right? Somebody calls in and says, I want you, you'll look to see if it's
Mhm.
rented. You'll write your
Yeah,
name
I'm
in,
thinking-
and once they give you the deposit.
Yeah,
that's
and
when-
I'm thinking she'll probably want to use it sometime around her daughter's birthday. I think her daughter's 7 or 8, maybe, so that would be my guess.
All right, so I have a motion. Need a second.
Don't make me say it again.
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Holmes. All in favor, raise your right hand. And the motion passes 4-0.
All right, and I got one thing, my comments, just to state is, I just wanted to say, thank you to Brian and his guys for helping remodel this room.
It looks great.
They did a lot of work with, the electrical, the tables, the chairs. They did not paint, but, for the most part, they did a lot of the manual stuff in here that was behind the scenes. Daniel did all the floor trim for us. They took TVs down and everything. Brian did all the LED lights for us and everything. It was a much needed upgrade, and we did budget for this, and I think we're around $2,200 for a new boardroom. So, and hopefully we can get new tables there at some point.
Sound like a team effort?
Yeah.
Pizza party.
Thank you. All right. All right, now let's see on the agenda. All right, next up is item 9, and it's to adjourn. I have a motion. Have a motion, got a second.
8:08.
Thank you.
Second. Second.